I represent those personally, Muhajirs, who were actually divided by this partition, half in Pakistan and half still in India. And there are some Indians or Hindus, I would say, who have every right to question if you had to live in India, then why on earth you created Pakistan on this issue. Muhajirs, those people who lived in Muslim minority province, all the funds which are given to Pakistan should be suspended until Pakistani military agrees to allow democracy to flourish. It stops persecution of Pakistan's minorities. It stops killing Baloch, Muhajir, Pashtun, Shia, Ahmadi, Christian, Hindu, or any other group or people of Gilgit-Baltistan.
You know, I'm leaving soon, but I want to believe that while I was here, I made a difference. And there are ideas that transcend time, and there are ideas that transcend ethnicity, there are ideas that transcend religion, there are ideas that are human and global in their nature, and among these are that all people are created equal. And sort of understand the plight of the Muhajirs, who are really the product of ethnic cleansing post-India independence, who were forced to leave their homes and then got somewhere where they thought they'd be welcome and found that they weren't. These guys have a story to tell that needs to be told. And again, I'm not advocating on behalf of any sort of radical change to U.S. policy, except that we demand that our allies treat their minorities with equality and with dignity.
And we hope, it is our hope and it is our demand that our allies feel the same way about all religious peoples. We can all live together and practice our faith in peace and in harmony, and that's how it should be, not only in America, that's how it is in America, but that's how it should be everywhere. And the world just keeps on getting better in that regard, and America, if anyone, needs to take the lead, and we need to demand it of all these other countries that we do business with and that we have relationships with, so that all people can realize their full potential and be as free as they would like to be. And so I applaud Tom for his leadership in this regard and all the other members that come. And for all of you folks in this movement, we cannot remain silent. We have to stand up with the authority and the power and the positions that are given to us to do the right thing. And this is the right thing to do. So thank you very much and God bless.
But ultimately, we realize as Americans, and we've come to realize that religious freedom is important for every religious minority worldwide, ethnic minority, religious minority. It is a basic human right. And as humans, we should share that human right. And it doesn't make a difference whether it's in the Western Hemisphere, the Eastern Hemisphere, Northern Hemisphere, Southern Hemisphere. Doesn't make a difference. The fact of the matter is, it's a basic human right that we all, no matter what ethnic group we belong to, no matter what religious group we belong to, we should all agree that there are basic human rights, and this is a struggle for a basic human right. No matter where on the earth it is, no matter what ethnic group you belong to, what religious group you belong to, you have the right to exist peacefully.
Pakistan hasn't taken action against any terrorist group or any terrorist leader, whether it's the so-called good Talib or it's the so-called bad terrorist. And why is not taking? Because it's not in its interest. And who defines the interest, the national interest in Pakistan? That's the military. The civilian government, the parliament, and any other political institution has no say in the drafting of the foreign policy, let alone its implementation. So what happened in all those years, like when 9/11 happened, I was in Peshawar, and we thought that out of this tragedy, something good might come out, and the good will be that the Taliban will be removed, Al-Qaeda will be displaced, and we will see a new economic era, like the Marshall Plan sort of thing will come. But at the end of the day, I am here. I can't go back to Pakistan. I haven't gone back in the last 9 years. And which is very tragic because the people who have been in the region and who were the victims of not terrorism, but they were the victims of war against terror. And the way Pakistan conducted this whole war, it brought misery, it brought displacement, thousands of people are missing, thousands of them have been extrajudicially killed, and that's why we have a very strong movement led by youth, which is called the Pashtun Tahfuz movement.
Baluchistan a minority but a nation under brutal forced occupation by Pakistan since 1948. The sovereign state of Balochistan won its freedom on August 11, 1947, based on the treaties between the British Crown and the rulers of Cloth. On March 27, 1948, Pakistan Army invaded Cloth, the seat of Baloch rule in Balochistan. We as the Baloch were forced to accept Pakistan without our national consent.
He understands that you cannot coexist with a country that is there to exploit you and abuse you and deny you the rights. Pakistan's message to the minorities in Pakistan, including the Muhajir, is very clear, and that is, you have to lose so we could succeed, or we will succeed only when you lose. There's no coexistence, there's no win-win. And under that circumstances, Mr. Nadeem Nusrat, Mr. Baloch, Mr. Piyush from different communities, they've realized that there's no coexistence with Pakistan. We have to move on. And I'm here to support anyone who have realized, who have gotten to that point where they see Pakistan as a disease, Pakistan as a cancer that is only surviving by exploiting and abusing the resources and the manpower of the minorities and not giving anything in return.
I'll say a little bit about Karachi. It is obviously a very important strategic point for the relationship between Pakistan and the United States. Obviously, having visited there and talked to others about what's happening at Karachi at the port with China, the One Belt, One Road effort through the region, there are strategic concerns, I think, that are of issue for everyone. So we want to make sure that we're having those conversations about how the partnership between the United States and Pakistan, especially as it relates to Karachi and other elements, because as you know, and the efforts that we pursue in Afghanistan are intricately related to lines of communication that actually go to Karachi and transect back into Afghanistan for all of us to be able to fight terrorism in the region. So I think those things are extraordinarily critical too, and things that from our Armed Services Committee are key. So to bring to light what we can do to make sure that we are standing up for South Asian minorities. We appreciate to have a lot of conversations with Puneet and folks across the district. So we are always interested in listening and making sure that we are an effective partner with our allies in the region, with groups too that have suffered through issues both in their own countries and abroad, and making sure that they are all treated fairly and equitably and thoughtfully across that region. So I appreciate the opportunity to be here with you today. And
I appreciate all of you being in here supporting my good friend Tom Garrett. I know this is an issue that's near and dear to his heart. He's a smart guy, but he's also a dedicated guy, and is very focused on minority rights and countries around the world, particularly in Afghanistan and Pakistan. So it's an honor to serve with him and an honor to stand beside him today.